We have seen the rating which is given by another international rating agency today. And if you notice, the rating agency has given emphasis on India's sound external position, and it has also emphasized on the inclusive economic reform agenda that the government is pursuing. The report of S&P says all the right things and everything that is being done about India. It forecasts that current year in 2016 the GDP will be 7.9%, and in the medium term up to 2019 the GDP will be in the range of 8%. It also recognizes the fact that India is continuing the policy of structural and other reforms. It talks specifically about GST and bankruptcy law as major initiatives which the government has been able to undertake. It talks of inflation also being under control and the ability of the system to retain inflation at around 5%. It talks of improvement in the external sector payment capacity that India has. Now, with all this, if the rating has not been improved, it's a matter which doesn't bother us so much, but I think it's a question which calls for an introspection among those who do the rating. Today, if you compare these developments which India has shown because of various steps taken in the last 2 years, if you compare with the kind of steps that we have taken, and if you compare the various factors which the report itself talks about, is there any other economy in the world today which equals this? Perhaps there will be, among the major economies, perhaps there is none. So with all this, if there is no improvement in the rating, I think it's a matter for the rating agency itself to put a question to itself and perhaps undertake a kind of introspection. And let me also add that recently when we were in Washington DC, when I accompanied the finance minister to participate in the World Bank and IMF annual meetings, we had several investors meetings in Washington. Before that, we had investors meetings in Toronto in Canada, and many of the investors and many other experts whom we interacted either in group or individually, they mentioned that India is a highly underrated country. Now, there is a disconnect, therefore, between what the investors are thinking of, what the investors have in their mind, and what the rating agencies are concluding. I think there is somewhere a disconnect. In fact, very large, investors from Canada are very bullish about India, and they have invested substantial sums in the last 1.5 years in India, and they have assured that they will continue to invest in the Indian economy in the months and years to come. So therefore, so far as government is concerned, the government, as we have been saying repeatedly, the government will continue to maintain the path, government will continue to adhere to the path of economic reforms. The various policy initiatives and reforms will continue, and it's for the rating agencies to take their own view, their independent agencies. And let me also add that the upgrade which the Moody's had done for India in 2004, that time it was primarily premised on improvement with regard to our external sector vulnerabilities, and also with regard to the economic kind of initiatives and the economic reduction of economic vulnerabilities of our economy. Even on those parameters today, compared to 2004, I think India stands in a far, far, far stronger footing. So therefore, government will continue to undertake the measures that are necessary to strengthen the economy, to improve the GDP growth, to create employment, to create jobs, and that process will continue.
So since you're saying that the rating agencies need to do self-introspection at this point of time,
it is just an observation. Let's not.
Are we also questioning S&P's methodology now?
No,
after more-
I'm not questioning anybody's methodology now. The detailed report we have to go through. I'm not questioning anybody's methodology. They are independent rating agencies, and we value their comments. Let me also add here very emphatically that we value the comments and attach a lot of importance to the comments and observations of all the rating agencies. The idea is not to show anybody in bad light. We value their comments, and they will be taken into consideration for for internally examining them, and whatever needs to be done, we will do that.
So one quick question here. They are saying over a period of the next 2 years, saying that current fiscal and the next fiscal, and they've also spoken in great detail about India's fiscal position, the debt levels, also the per capita income, and they're also saying that extra spend on the part of the government is not really creating infrastructure space and services. So is there a basic question mark that they're trying to raise on the overall reforms initiative?
No, I don't know. I mean, it is for you to interpret, but I would not like to interpret their report.
How do you view the risk factors which they have pointed out? They've pointed out 2 or 3 things. One is the growth numbers. They're saying that in fact the rating going forward may be at risk if we do not meet the
If
growth
growth
numbers.
is
You see, every economy faces some risks.
Right.
Every economy faces some risks. There is an external environment. There is a world growth. There is a global growth which is beyond our control. And so there are many, uncertainties all over. But notwithstanding even the current level of uncertainties this year and in the previous years, India has maintained its position where it is. I think the only specific issue on which they have raised some concern is with regard to the stressed assets of the banks. But as you know, the government is fully aware of this problem. Government has undertaken number of measures to address this issue. It's not something which is not known to us, and that will continuously engage the attention of the government.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.